I'm Lauren, that awkward plant girl. Welcome back to my channel. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you guys for popping in. Today I want to propagate a bunch of Begonia and a bunch of Peperomia. I have two tanks that are completely overwhelmed and they have been needing a prop and chop for so long. But there's so much, like it's literally going to be hundreds of propagations, and I have put it off for a really long time. But the plants are literally popping out the top of the tank at this point and they really just need a chop. So that's the plan. That's what we're doing today. I'm going to experiment with a couple of different things. I do want to do an entire tank full of just stratum and put propagations in there and see how that goes. I've had great success with stratum. This is Begonia and stratum. This is the Begonia maculata. If you saw my plant chores video where I was going around and just trying to make up a list of all the different things to do, this was one of the things that was on that list. They were Begonia propagations that were right over here. Yes, I have thirsty plants. I have watered them. They will come back. It's been hot and then dry and then wet, and it's been weird here in Washington State. Like, so they're thirsty, but they got water. Don't worry, they'll be fine. This is Peperomia. I started a few months ago actually, and they've been growing in stratum as well. They've been growing really well, really happily. So because these are both doing so well in stratum, I think that this is the perfect opportunity to use these specific plant species and have them grow in the tank. So that's the plan. Let's go chop up some Peperomia. And here we go. This is the Peperomia tank. Welcome. Hello. There are so many Peperomia in there. I think there's at least 30 or 40 different species in here. It's very crazy. We'll kind of go over them later maybe. Yeah. Let's get chopping. Okay, so I wanted to show you exactly how tangled it is in here. They've literally had whole stems just creeping along the ground. You can see this is the Peperomia caparata. I think it is the freckle and the red ripple that are just the biggest in here. And they've gone kind of crazy. They've just taken over the entire thing. And they've enmeshed among each other, so it's all tangled. And I'm just gonna have to go in and chop each one down a little bit at a time. I love these little tiny, they're embroidery scissors, but they're really cute and they fit in the little cracks and crevices in terrariums. So you can get in between and make sure that you're cutting between the nodes of things and whatnot, which is not necessary for Peperomia, but it is very nice to have. And it makes it a little bit easier. And there's enough issues with tangling. It's definitely fun. But I wanted to show you this so that you can see in between the different nodes of the Peperomia. And I'm just going to try to chop in between the nodes. Nodes are not necessary for propagating Peperomia, but they do have a higher success rate, especially if you have a large portion of the main stem. So I'm just going to get back to chopping all of this. And you can see I'm just starting from the base and working my way up. And I'm trying to make sure that I get as much of the main stem as possible. And I'm hoping I can get all this out. It's definitely very, very tangled. I did want to show you guys this. This is one of the oldest leaves of this particular Peperomia. Their foliage comes in very small and then it gets larger and larger the older the leaves. So that's really neat that they get that big, and it's just so cool. I had to share because most everybody thinks that they're just small or that they all grow big when they're a specific kind, like a lot of other plants, but Peperomia actually come in smaller, and as they mature in age, they'll get bigger. It's really neat. Oh, I wanted to show you this. This is an older leaf and it looks still viable. You can see at the base there where it's not broken down or anything. It doesn't look the best, but it's definitely still a viable leaf if you wanted to propagate it. So this is really neat. They started climbing literally way up the sides. So there's all kinds of peperomia with roots sticking to the edges. It's crazy. The baby leaves are so cute. And this is like a little pot of tiny awesomeness right here. I'm very excited for all these. I think I'm going to leave these and let them grow out a little bit more. I'll clean it out eventually, but for right now, I think I've definitely got enough to handle. Yeah, another thing I messed up is I let this tank dry out too much. You can see that a lot of the moss has kind of died off and that a lot of the plants are leggy. This Ludicea discolor is doing really well though, and it's the only thing that's not a peperomia in the tank. And now we've really got to focus on the other side. I'm only about halfway done, but I've been working at this for a while now. And I guess we just really need to get into it. You can see all these roots were stuck to it and it's tangled too. It's not going to be any better than the other side. Oh, I wanted to share this with you. This is a non-viable peperomia leaf. This is a watermelon peperomia. You can see how the leaf is very flexible. It's not holding on to any moisture. The base is rotted. This is one where even though it's torn up, it's still pretty firm, especially around the stem. And that's gonna actually survive versus the other one. So this is a Peperomia pink lady. It's not feeling like it's very stable. It's still like a little flexible, a little squishy. It's got new leaves coming in right there. This is not an easy to find plant, so I think I'm gonna leave it there and let it recover and get more light and see where it kind of goes before I start chopping it up. That's the plan for that one. Then this Peperomia incana is really cool. You can see how thick the stem has grown. It's almost as thick as a finger and it's so fuzzy and soft. It's also called like the felted Peperomia. Really cool plant. Love it. And then we're finally done cleaning this thing out. It took so long. Oh my gosh. But it looks a lot better than it did. This little Peperomia is starting to perk up a little bit more. This is the Peperomia pink lady. You can tell there's a lot to do on the bottom here. I think I'm gonna need tweezers and more time and patience. I tried to chop up most everything I could get to. Really like that one. It grows in really pretty pink in the beginning. And then there's a little Pato Peperomia. And there's just a lot of like remnants. This is another Peperomia pink lady. Whoops. And I'm gonna give this a good watering and go from there before I chop anything else up. And I think I'm actually going to put some of the vining peperomia and creeping peperomia back in here for now because I don't know if I'll have enough space. So see, I've got 2 whole trays of peperomia. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all this. This is way more than I thought. This is a little Peperomia pink lady that I chopped. I don't know how these are going to do. We shall see. I'm going to try to do stratum for them. And then there's so much Peperomia freckles and red ripple. Yeah, it's literally hundreds of Peperomia. All right, so we are finally done chopping up the Peperomia tank. That took like an hour and a half. I did not show it all to you. It was so much. My phone actually died and I had to stop and then charge it, and then I was able to film more. Yeah, it was an interesting time. And we still have one more tank to do. I'm starting to think that maybe I took on a little bit more than I can chew with this, but we're going to keep working on it because I want to make sure that I have both the Peperomia and the Begonia in the stratum experiment. So that's the plan. We're going to keep going. I still have to break it all down after chopping it out of the tank. I'm not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to all of the propagations that are going to come from this. So yeah. So I'm going to put all the cuttings in this bowl since I used up everything for the Peperomia. Didn't think I was going to do that. And I think I'm going to work on this Begonia escargot first. It's got the biggest leaves. It's taken over pretty much most of the tank. I'd say about a third of the tank is just this Begonia alone. So that's what I'm going to kind of work on, and I'm just going to try to keep it organized. For Begonia, I'm going to make sure that I get as much main stem as possible, and that's where we're going to go with that. So this bolo begonia is definitely filling up quick. This is not even half the tank yet. And you can see over here, this is all that I've chopped. Let me try to, they'll grow from stem cuttings and leaf cuttings, just leaves. They'll grow from main stems. Like, begonia are very resilient. So I don't mind chopping them back at the base. These have actually grown over and rooted in each other's pots. So they're all tangled too. It's just a hot mess. So I am taking some with roots and some without roots, and you can see that there's some left in here that have no leaves on them whatsoever. They will come back, don't worry. They're very, very resilient, I promise. You'll see them again. And this one is huge. I almost have to get my clippers out. These little shears are almost not doing it for some of these thicker begonia. So, and you can see this other one has rooted in a whole other pot. I think it's actually rooted in 2 other pots. It's crazy. It's so huge. This is the one that was flowering though. It was so happy. I hope it keeps the flowers. I don't know. This is so disgusting. This is such a disgusting mess of a tank. Ew. It's not wet though. Most of it is kind of dried out. Probably another reason why there's like so many roots at the base and why it's so disgusting. It probably lost leaves every time I let it dry out. This is a non-viable begonia leaf, so we're just going to get rid of that one, and then I have to figure out how to chop this guy up. And I don't know the names of these Rex begonia. They just always come in as like foliage. They're not specialty begonia that I ordered or anything. They're just begonia that I see and I fall in love with and I bring them home. But they're all pretty common. I really need to get a better tank set up and take better care of my plants, and then I'll get more rare begonia, I think. And then this is a Monstera stanleyana. It has rooted to this board, but this board is really moldy. So I don't want it to stay on there for forever. These are notoriously difficult to root. So I think I'm going to take these and put them in stratum. They all have little roots on them. And then this is what's left. I did stick a note in with my oblique in my 75-gallon tank. And then this is what's left of the begonia that I've chopped up. And you can see some have leaves, some don't. That little corner is grossness that I need to throw away, but I'm not prepared to deal with. Shout out if you do that too. These are so cute. I just love these. These are like little tiger's paw begonia or something. They're so adorable. Oh my gosh. Sorry, the lighting is really weird here. Sun is starting to shift edges, and then I have grow lights, and it's just all funky here. But I wanted to stop in and say that I ended up taking this Monstera stanleyana aurea, and I put it in stratum, and I put it in this cup right here. And then I'm going to put it back in that same begonia tank with those begonia. I think it's going to do really well there. It's clearly been happy there, so I just want to keep it going. I'm kind of hesitant to move it anywhere else just because it's been so happy. So I'm going to put it back in there, even though that tank is disgusting. So disgusting. It needs to be cleaned. But I'm sorry. This beautiful plant has to go in the disgusting tank for now. We'll clean it another day. Maybe in like a blog or something. Or a vlog, or what is it? Vlog? Video log, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, that's the plan. I'm really just stalling because I don't want to go and chop these up, but I need to chop these up. Yeah. So this is one of the thinner begonia, but they have a lot of stem. I'm just trying to make sure that every one has a leaf and some of the main stem if possible. They will root from just leaves, but if it's got main stem, I kind of want to keep it, especially for the stratum experiment. This is a chunker. Oh my goodness. This is that one that jumped over to the other pot. You can see it has roots still. Here is a little chunk with no leaves, so that's going to go in the stratum as well, and I want to see if that's going to root. Let me know if you think it will. And I chopped up the leaves as well, and I'm just going to kind of put those in the stratum too. These will probably have to go somewhere else. So I'm at the point where I have chopped all these things up and I'm fitting them into propagation vessels. They won't all fit in the tank. I am having to hunt down a bunch of different propagation things for them. Ran out of stratum, so I have to order more. So we're going to do an experimentation, and we'll do some in water and some in sphagnum moss, because those are the things that I have readily available currently that I know that they'll probably do okay in. Water is hit or miss depending on the begonia and the peperomia variety. Definitely interesting. So before this is all done, I think I am probably going to order more stratum, and then I'm probably going to order some more propagation vessels. Maybe I'll come back to it in a tour video. I'll definitely be updating you either way on what's going on. Yeah, so let me just finish propping all of these and putting them where they need to go. So this is what I've ended up doing. I've got perlite here, and I'm sticking the bigger ones in these little perlite bowls, and then I have humidity globes I'm going to put over them. I still have more peperomia and more begonia. I'm trying to do the begonia first, and I'm going to put those in water, and that's the plan there. So it's been like 2 hours, and I've been chopping up peperomia. I've got little wet stick peperomias that I want to put in stratum. Some of them have roots, some of them don't, some of them have nodes, some of them don't. These are leaf cuttings for stratum and sphagnum moss because I'm running out of everything, and there's only so much room in that stratum tank. These are leaf and main stem cuttings. I'm just trying to divide everything up. This is a little peperomia incana. It's going to be interesting to see this guy grow. He's going to be so wonky. But I still have more. A lot of these creeping ones I'm probably going to end up just tossing back in the tank, honestly, because I don't have the space for them, and I'll just have to deal with them another time. Took about 5 hours with a small lunch break in between, of course, to get all of this done. I was able to get everything chopped and propped. I came back. It's definitely been interesting getting all of this done. There was just so much to do. I will probably need to order more propagation vessels like I was talking about before. I'm thinking I want to get some type of a globe like the one that I use for my string of turtles. I think I took on a bit more than I could chew doing 2 tanks in one day. I should have just done 1 tank and not be so greedy, but I'll definitely have lots of propagation vessels. I currently have 4 tanks full of nothing but peperomia and begonia for the most part. So it's been an interesting time. I have also commandeered a Cheez-It container. It was awesome to be able to prop all of these plants. I don't know which ones are going to make it, which ones are not. I'm pretty excited to see what they all do though. I'm really excited, especially about the stratum. I think it's going to work out really well. I don't know about those peperomia cuttings that were just basically sticks. Do you guys think they'll do anything? Do you think they'll rot? Do you think they'll root? Will they grow leaves? I don't know. I've never done just a peperomia stick like that before. It's not, I can't even call it a wet stick because it doesn't even have a node. Like, I don't know what it's going to do. So I'm excited to see what that does. And then the full-on begonia, especially with the flowers that I just put in those perlite globes, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting time. Definitely follow for updates. I'll let you guys know either in short or in a long form video. In the meantime, don't be afraid to experiment on your own. This is how we learn. This is how we expand our knowledge, is by trying new things and then sharing them. That's one of my favorite things to do on this channel. Definitely drop down in the comments below like what you're doing. How have you done this? Have you tried any of these things before? Like, I would love to know. I'm sure everyone else would like to know. We all run to the comments to see what's going on, you know. One thing I did learn for sure today is that it's possible to overdo it. I definitely overdid it. I took on way too much. It's a common theme on my channel, and I probably should limit myself in my brain. Like, it's so much easier to do things, and it seems so simple. Like, it's literally just chop 2 tanks up, right? But I didn't think about the aftermath. Like how long it would take to untangle so many vining plants and so many like creeping plants. And then the begonia, I didn't take into account how dirty that tank was going to be. It kind of grossed me out a little bit, which we will have to clean in the future. So if you want to see that, subscribe. I don't know. But yeah, we're definitely going to get that taken care of. And I'm going to let you go. It has been a very long day. The sun has literally risen and come down today, and I have been playing with plants for most of the day. So I'm going to see you later. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!